Hey folks, it's the Nutty Knife Guy, and it is 6:47 on Sunday, September 4th. I've been getting way behind on my writing, just because of life. So I was basically up to the wee hours of the morning trying to catch up. I try to write about 1,000 words a day, and I haven't been doing that, so I wrote 3,000 rounds tonight, around 3,000 words tonight, while I was checking on the progress of a new piece of artwork I posted intermittently. And I said, well, it's been raining all night, and even if it stops raining now, the ground underneath the war post is going to be mud, so I'm not going to be able to do a video outdoors today. So I am going to do a video down here, and I'm going to try and keep my voice down and the noise to a minimum because everybody else is still in bed because they're not flaky writer artist types. So I am going to try to kind of simulate the war post while I'm inside. And I think I can still give a decent evaluation of the knife. And this is the Ruike P138 liner lock. And I've had this for about a year now. It's been in my EDC rotation. I have used it and I tested it before. I didn't take it out to the war post routine, but I made sure that the lock was sturdy. And you know, it's the typical black and silver. I know, you know, people like purple lines, but you know, I like the black and silver color scheme that would go with all the equipment in the original Star Trek. First of all, I want to tell you that I am a fan of Ruike Knives. I've got their P108, and even though it has started to show its age and it doesn't do the spine whack thing anymore, I've been carrying that thing on a regular basis and using it for a lot of stuff for like 5 years, and the lock is starting to give way a little bit, starting to get a little blade play. I'm going to see if I can fix it. I've tried yet, but that knife has been stellar. I did a video on it. I think that was my first video as the Nutty Knife Guy. This is another one that I really, really like. First of all, just look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Ergos are great. It feels fantastic in the hand. I like the bigger folders. Now, this isn't one of those monster cold steels like their Voyager or their Spartan, but this is a pretty beefy knife. It's got a pretty wide handle this way, and I like that because it fills the hand. The flipper does form a kind of a guard, and it's got a nice deep finger well. And the access groove there for the liner lock is big. You don't have to, especially for my medium large size hands. It's really good. So we'll get one thing out of the way. We'll do the spine wrap. Okay, so really solid. I am not going to do the forward foot drop test because it's just not practical for the way I have to do this video. But the lock is solid. Now, I did a video about secondary safeties on knives, or just the safety catches on folding knives, and how I really didn't like them. This one has it, and if you've got to have one, if you've got to have the extra safety switch on a knife, this is the way to do it. You've got this thing right here, this tab, that's barely noticeable. It can just barely feel it with your thumb. And the site where I bought this, and I can't remember what it was, I'm thinking it was Atlantic Knife, but I'm not sure, didn't even mention this safety as a feature, and you just slide it back and forth with your thumb. And I didn't even know it was on there until about an hour after I had the knife, and I was playing with it, and I was using a pretty bright light to check the lock engagement and blade centering, and by the way, 0 blade play, and I think it's still perfect. Yeah, it's perfect blade centering, very nice tolerances. If you're going to have a safety on a knife, that's the way to do it, because you can just ignore it. It doesn't get in the way, it's completely unintrusive. I don't know if it works or not, because the lock is perfectly fine without it, so there's no way to test whether the locking mechanism makes it safe again, and it doesn't do anything to keep the knife closed, because it's not that kind of a safety. Very smooth action. Ruike and Kubi, in my mind, are some of the best kept company secrets in knifedom. Now, Donnie B, they praises Kubi no end, and deservedly so. I've got a few of their knives. I've reviewed at least one. The Kubi Carve, great knife. But Ruike is up there in my mind with the Kubi. And they're in about the same price range. And this runs about $50. I think I paid like $49 when I bought this. It's listing on Amazon at $51 now. So it's borderline budget for me. Like I said, my idea of a budget blade is $50 or less. So now this is not qualifying as a budget. But then we have to adjust for inflation, don't we? So it's got an open design, but you can see it's got steel spacers in here. It's more of a brace to keep this solid. I mean, when you put it's got good solid G10. You can see that's pretty thick G10 for a folder. It does have steel inserts. I don't know if you can see them because they're kind of recessed. It does have steel inserts. This thing is just solid. When you squeeze a lot of knives, even the ones with steel inserts, if you squeeze them hard enough, you can actually feel them bend a little bit. It's not very big a deal, but still. You don't with this knife. You don't feel that at all. Now, I have, like I said, I've had this for about a year, and it's been in my carry rotation. So I have touched up the blade a little bit, not much. Let's see. What I do, and I know this is going to make a lot of knife guys cringe, but I keep this little Smith pull-through sharpener on my belt, along with my keys to my house and to my gun safe. And if I do anything heavy duty with this thing, like cut a lot of cardboard or a hose or something like that, or any of my knives, I put it through here 5 or 10 times. Keep it sharp so I don't have to spend a lot of time sharpening it. I know the knife is always sharp. I know there's a lot of people out there that will look at a pull-through knife sharpener and absolutely lose their minds if you use one to keep, but I don't use these to do major sharpening. I use them to maintain an edge. And then when first times I get a chance and get home after I use one of these things, I give it a good straw. Okay. So there's that. Now, I can, like I said, I have touched up this edge, but it was really sharp out of the box. Okay, and I think, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I think it's still shave sharp. I don't do this test very much. I always forget to do it. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that in this light. And also, I apologize if my voice is very quiet. Like I said, I'm trying not to wake people up here. So, okay, where did that go? Alright, now, of course I can't do the water bottle test down here, but I do have the detergent bottle that I used in a previous test. Now, you've seen how sharp it was, so what we're going to do is stab and rip. And, okay, I'm going to have to do it this way because just physics, it's kind of hard to get the right strength. Okay, we're going to pull that through. Now, I don't know, I hope that got on there. I'm going to do it again and make sure you're in frame. having trouble just because of the dynamics. I'm sitting down and this thing is not thin. But once you get it through there, you can see it pulls through very nicely. And let's see. Since we're not doing the normal tests here, I've got a piece of cardboard. Because of my bad leg, I keep a grabber gizmo around. And this way I don't have to stop talking, stop making the video to get this. I've got a piece of cardboard that came with this packaging for my latest buds and knives. So we'll cut some cardboard with it. Oops. That was me, not the knife. And now cutting through this, it does seem like it's dulling a little bit. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just the cardboard is kind of folded. Okay, well, so much for that getting duller going through the cardboard. Not bad. Now the steel on this is 14 C28N, which is kind of, from what I understand, kind of a medium grade stainless steel. I have not had any problems with scratching. You can see, as a matter of fact, it went through that bottle. There's no scratching on it. Now, I'm going to do the unthinkable here. This is the edge. And this is an old tire billy. I think it's hickory, so it ain't soft. And what we got here is still a pretty doggone sharp knife. And no damage to that edge. Will it still shave hair? Running out of hair. I just bought 4 new knives, folks. Guess what? The arm hair comes off. I just don't think there was any major hair left to shave there. My arms aren't particularly hairy. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but it's coming off of there. So, I mean, let's see, is there anything I can do to test the tip that I can let you guys see? No, if I did that, I'd probably wind up hurting myself. Oh, it's a good question. I didn't think about testing the tip when I decided to do this. Yeah, maybe I can do this without hurting myself. I mean, this isn't perfect this isn't a perfect test by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, well, I mean, it's standing up. If I hold it steady, it will anyway. See if I can get it to do that again. Okay. I mean, it's standing up, and I'm twisting it, so that's not a bad test. This blade, of course, I like Tantos. Now this blade, and this is a $50 knife. It is made in China, but Ruike is a Canadian company. This knife has a distal taper, which helps with blade strength. And $50 knife with a distal taper, that's not bad at all. So I really like this thing. Sometimes I want to buy two of a knife just because I want one in the collection and one to carry around. So I have one like on reserve if something happens to the first one, and also just for the collection because I have a beloved nephew that's going to get it all in 30 or 40 years when I go away, and I want to have this for this price. I mean, this to me is if this was if this was made in America, this would probably be going for $150. And yeah, you know, for all I'm as patriotic as the next guy. I wish that you could get American-made stuff this good for that price, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not a rich man, so I will buy quality. Now, I just bought a Tops, all made in America, $152. So I'm not saying that I won't buy knives, but you know, if you're a collector and you shut out the Chinese knives or the Pack-and-Nat standing knives, some are really good, and you're just losing out. But this thing, you can't go wrong with it. That is the Ruike. I wish that's the one thing I like about Cold Steel. They give all their stuff cool names so you can remember them. There's the Ruike P138B. It also comes in like a tan. I wouldn't call it flat dark earth. I would call it like a sand color that is pretty nice looking, I got to admit. And if you're one of these guys that like to match the knife to your clothing, you know, color options are helpful. But folks, this is a great little knife. Well, a great medium-sized knife, I guess you would call it. This is one of those knives that gets in my rotation. Ooh, I get to carry my Ruike today. But of course, I get a lot of knives in my rotation like that because they're in my rotation and they're the elite. The ones that I'm carrying are the elite among my collection. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. So I will leave you with this admonishment. 2. Draw your knives only in just purpose. Sheathe or close them only with honor. And remember that without knives, life would be dull and pointless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help feed the almighty YouTube algorithm. All hail the algorithm. And I will see you next week. Weather permitting, I'll get out to the war post. But I think that I've shown you that this is a good solid knife without going out to the war post. Not as much fun, and probably not as much fun to watch. But I wanted to get it in this week, and I wanted to do a review. I did the knife philosophy thing a couple of times, and I wanted to get a review in. So there you are. As soon as I can get out to the war post, I've got that new F&Grow, whose model name I can't remember, that I posted in my community in my community page about. That's first on my list for my next review as soon as I get some weather. I'm hoping the forecast all week where I live is horrible weather, so hopefully by the next weekend, by Saturday, I'll be able to get out to the war post. And with that, I bid you goodbye.